Hello, my amazing artists! Today we are going to create an Alexander Calder inspired creature paper sculpture. Using the materials in my art bag, I created two monster dragons. And I used the artist Alexander Calder as my inspiration. We're going to learn a little bit about Alexander Calder to get some inspiration for our artwork. Alexander Calder is one of my favorite sculpture artists. He is from Pennsylvania, just like me, and I got to see one of his pieces of artwork. This piece of artwork is called Stegosaurus. His artwork is normally in very large cities because if you can see, his sculptures are very, very large. This piece is called Red Flamingo and it is in Chicago. A lot of his artwork is the color red, but if you notice they have different lines and different shapes that make them up together, but they all connect in the center. They are so large and so beautiful to see in person. We are going to create our own artwork inspired by Alexander Calder, but we're going to put a little twist on it and create them into creatures. The materials for this lesson are construction paper, scissors, pencil, glue stick, and optional markers if you want to color on top of your artwork. For step 1, I am going to choose which color paper I want my sculpture to be, and I'm going to fold it and cut it in half. I only want half of that piece of paper. I can always use that extra piece of paper later when I add details to my artwork. I'm going to go ahead and cut it straight down the middle in half. Step 2, I am going to fold that paper in half again because I'm going to use that crease for the inside of my sculpture. So that folded piece is very, very important. Step 3, I am going to draw my lines on the folded side. So I'm going to start on the folded side and I'm going to draw either a straight line, a zigzag line, a curvy line, but I'm going to repeat those lines going up and down. Make sure they're not too close together and one of them might come right off the page. That's okay, it's going to make my top part kind of curvy. So I have 2 fingertip lengths apart. Please make sure that they have a good thick length between them because if not, they're not going to stand properly. Also, I have 2 fingertips on the folded side because I don't want to cut off those lines. I want them to stay together. So I'm going to do that by not completely cutting them off, and now I'm just going to erase that 2 fingertip length because I don't want to forget that I can't cut that off. But I am going to cut off the first one. So when I cut it, I'm only going to cut off the first one because it's going to give me a little curve at the beginning of my sculpture. It's going to have that first leg. Then watch as I cut, I'm going to cut and stop. Yep, and it's stuck together, it didn't fall off. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to cut it and stop. Again, you can make these lines zigzag lines, wavy lines, crazy lines, whatever you want to do. I wanted mine just to be straight and curved, but you do have to curve it in that bended line so that it looks like a leg and it stands properly. If you have to do this a couple of times, that's okay. Okay, and for my last line, I'm just going to cut that top piece off. It's going to make it look like it has a curved top on it. And then my cutting part is finished. Step 4, I'm going to fold the legs back and forth to make them stand. So we're going to call them legs now. And when I fold them, I'm going to take the first one on the bottom and I'm going to fold it on the opposite symmetrical side and I'm going to fold it down. And then I'm going to flip the whole thing over and then do the same thing to that other side. I'm going to fold it down. So now they are symmetrical, and if you notice, those are the first two legs. There's this little piece of paper sticking out, and that's what you want in the center. It's like the spine of the artwork. So since I'm on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and fold this side over. This is probably the hardest part of the lesson, and it's not really that hard if you actually get the hang of it and practice it. So now I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna fold it over. Since I didn't cut all the way over, it's going to stop when I fold it over and automatically create that spine for the artwork. And I'm gonna keep doing that until I'm completely done with all of the legs. Okay, step 5, we need to make it stand. Now you can see the spine, the folded spine. You can see all the legs, and if I stand it up, it's not going to stand on its own. It's going to flop over because I need some feet for it. We can't stand without our feet, and we need to give our sculpture creature some feet to stand. I can also position it while I'm getting ready to see kind of how I want it to go. I can keep folding them in different directions. That's up to you. Now this is your part. This is your design and your creation and how you want it to look and stand.
Okay, so he does not stand, he flops over. So I have to give him some feet, and I need to have something for him to stand on, like this guy. He's got a ground to stand on. So I'm going to get some ground. Should be big enough. And I'm going to give him some feet. So how I do that is I am just going to fold a foot up. And I can fold them in different directions because he's going to be standing all over the paper. So I'm going to do that first. I'm just going to fold a little foot. Kind of like back and forth, like I folded the middle part. All right, now if I stand him up, kind of stands a little bit better. But now I'm going to want to get my glue stick, and I'm going to want to really glue him down now. Okay, so I'm going to get my glue stick. All right. And I'm going to want to now just put little dots of glues on the bottom so that when I stick him down, he doesn't move. I can always reposition him if I want him in a different position, or her, whatever your monster Alexander Calder creation is. All right. So now I can go ahead and hold him in place at the top with my hand, and then I can position him, or her, or it, down. All right, so now it stands. But if I don't like some parts, I can go ahead and I can kind of move it. Maybe it's bending. I don't want it to bend that weird way. Maybe it needs some more glue. This one didn't even get glue. Okay, I can move it. That's where I can bend it and move it. All right. So I like the way it looks. Now I can add design. So you have your sculpture, but what is your sculpture? My guy right here actually has extra room on his paper. I can make another one next to it. It's like a dragon. See, like a dragon. So I also made another one just like it, and then I used the pieces. It was a scrap piece, didn't work out. And I used my scraps.
So I'm going ahead and adding some wavy lines to my legs with my scrap paper, and I'm about to show you how I'm going to make the head as well for my dragon. So how I'm going to create the head is I'm going to do it on a folded piece of paper. Looks like the letter P. And I made a straight line and a curved line. Now your head might be different. Maybe you don't want your head to be a folded piece of paper. That's up to you. Just showing you how I created mine. So now there is my letter P, which is my monster's head. I can cut out pieces to make it look like a mouth, or maybe the top of his head is a zigzag. And I can also add some features to my artwork as well, like some eyes, some teeth, Maybe he has some texture on him that I want to add as well. And I need to do that to both sides of my artwork because we are going to see it from all angles. So I want to be able to see different things from all different angles, just like the two sides of his head. Now that I have my head, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it to the spine of the artwork. Not inside, but on the outside. I'm gonna glue it down, and I might have to cut it and adjust it to see how it's going to stand. I don't want it to be too heavy. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that and glue it on. And then I'm going to go and add more things to my artwork because I wanna add different details to it. Adding different color construction paper and other shapes and details will help it to look like what you're trying to achieve. I want to have a dragon, so I'm going to add different design elements to it. I also have some zigzag lines connecting them together, kind of make it look like almost like wings. And I have it in his mouth as well, and I'm cutting my triangles for the top of his arms and some polka dots as well. So I'm just going to take the time to do that, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. He's breathing fire! You can't see him. There he is. He's so cool. So I added some extra triangles and some fire for his fire-breathing mouth. Super cool. And these are my two dragons. They came out so awesome. Yeah. I hope you guys had fun creating. Bye! I cannot wait to see the awesome creatures that you create.